I told you, this thing is bigger than Nino Brown, and I got a list of proof.
Order.
If I'm going down,
Order in
I'm
the
taking a
court.
whole lot of
I
people
said
with me.
order in the court.
Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am.
To this day.
Nino Brown Boxing, and I'm back in the building. Shout out to the LDBC. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. So, guys, this morning I want to talk about my man, Guillermo Rigondeaux. So, we all know Rigo, he had a brutal knockout this past Sunday, and it was a title eliminator for the WBC belt at super featherweight, 122 pounds. Now, it was an article on Boxing Scene that I read this morning, and basically Rigondeaux explains why he fought the way he fought. You know, he fought inside the pocket, a head-to-head, like literally forehead on forehead inside fight. Very non-traditional style for Guillermo Rigondeaux. We all know Guillermo Rigondeaux for his superior defense, his ability to outbox his opponents from the outside, extremely elusive fighter, you know, spectacular head movement, great foot movement, all of that good stuff. All of that stuff that we know Guillermo Rigondeaux for, the sweet signs, that Cuban style, the art of hitting this opponent and not being hit. Well, all of that shit went out the window this past Sunday. And Guillermo Rigondeaux, he stayed inside of the pocket. He banged with his opponent. I read in the article, Rigo said that he was looking to hit his opponent with that left hook. It wasn't there earlier in the fight, and eventually it came, and that's what caused the knockout. Now, basically, he was wanting to let the fans know that he has the ability to bang and fight on the inside, and he's not some type of guy that has to run around the ring every fight or run around the ring in order to get the victory. He's very versatile. I mean, I know that. Majority of the boxing fans know that. Maybe some of the casuals don't know. We all know Rigo's amateur pedigree, his Olympic background. So Rigo being in those type of fights and having the ability to do that doesn't surprise me at all. Now, like I said earlier, this fight was a title eliminator. It's between Ray Vargas and Kamodi. I can't pronounce the guy's name. I believe it's a Japanese guy. If I'm mistaken, I apologize. But those are the remaining fights. The way the article made it seem is those two are going to fight one another, and Rigo is going to get the winner. Now, this is at 122. Me personally, I looked at the 122 rankings. I'm not going to pretend like I'm some type of guy that knows that 122-pound weight division extremely well, because I don't. But I've seen Guillermo Rigondeaux dominate at 126, even though he got screwed over. I've seen the Guillermo Rigondeaux move up to 130 to fight. He moved up to 130 to fight Lomachenko. Had a brain fart, guys. So, well, with all of that being said, I feel it sucks. It's very unfortunate that Guillermo Rigondeaux, according to Boxing Scene's rankings, I didn't have the chance to go to the sanctioning body's rankings to check this out and to confirm. But according to Boxing Scene's rankings, because that's where I saw the article, Guillermo Rigondeaux is only ranked by the WBC. I'm not surprised to see Guillermo Rigondeaux not ranked by the WBA. They're the one to strip Rigo, even though he went up 2 weight classes to fight a man that wasn't in his division. And the WBO, I'm not surprised either, especially with Rigo being with the PBC now. The IBF rankings that's very odd to me. You know, I feel like Rigo, if he wanted to be in the IBF rankings, he definitely could. But going the WBC route, it probably doesn't serve any purpose. I would say very similar to Sean Porter when he was not in the IBF rankings, even though he had a backstory with them. But moving forward, after Rigo, and I believe he will become a champion again. I believe he will capture that 122-pound WBC title. I truly feel that I want Rigo to move up to 126. Now, some people would say, well, why would Rigo do that? He wasn't able to get the fights with those guys before. And I feel that the significant difference of now and then is Rigo is officially a PBC fighter. Yes, I get it. I understand. Let's just use Lil Santa Cruz, for example. He ducked Guillermo Rigondeaux, but he ducked him as a when Rigo was basically on the other side of the pond. Now, with that being said, well, people can say, well, Lil Santa Cruz and Gary Russell, they still haven't fought. I feel like the powers that be on the PBC side they look at Gary Russell as more of a threat for Lil Santa Cruz, and with a smaller guy and Guillermo Rigondeaux moving up in weight, eventually they're going to give Lil Santa Cruz a tough fight, hopefully a lot sooner than later. I will also be interested in a fight with Guillermo Rigondeaux and Gary Russell Jr. Now, when I say that stylistically, I think it would just be a night full of tactical fighters with great explosiveness going head to head, and someone will break later on in the fight. But before that fight is even made, and I don't even want to push for that fight right now, I would love to see Gary Russell or Guillermo Rigondeaux get an opportunity against Lil Santa Cruz. So either one of those guys, I mean, it would be great if Lil Santa Cruz, Gary Russell was the main event, and they had Rigo on the undercard. It doesn't matter if he was fighting Ray Vargas for the WBC belt at 122, or if he's moving up to possibly get in line to fight another one of the champions that PBC have at 126. I need to dive deeper into those rankings. I can't go off the top of my head right now. Like I said, these smaller weight classes is not necessarily my focus, but Guillermo Rigondeaux is still one of my favorite fighters. Gary Russell Jr., one of my favorite fighters, DMV native. So I got to put it on for these guys. So, man, I'm just looking forward to what is in the future for my guy Guillermo Rigondeaux, and I really hope that he gets the opportunities extended to him that he definitely deserves. We all know the story of Rigo. You know, he's been ducked. We know he's moved up multiple weight classes to fight Lomachenko, lost his first fight, quit, whatever you want to call it. And I just find that it's very unfortunate because Rigo wouldn't have even been in that type of situation if the guys in and around his actual weight class were willing to face him. And the WBC, they screwed him over as well. We all know most people duck Rigo, and the number one reason he was getting decent fights previously was due to the fact that he had that WBA belt. But since Rigo lost his title in a fight that it wasn't in the weight class that he held the title, it's just, it's completely messed up, man. And only thing I want for Rigo now is just opportunity after opportunity. We know he's an older fighter, but he still possesses that pop. He still has that ability. Some people were saying in this previous fight they feel like Rigo lost a step. I don't see it at all. Rigo, he also said in the article that he wanted to get some rounds in. And a lot of us have to take into consideration, even going into that Lomachenko fight, Rigo inactivity his activity was very low. He was pretty much inactive for a long period of time, and even with the fights that he did have, they ended early, so he didn't have many rounds in. So Rigo taking this time, just getting used to just being hit in an actual fight all over again, it's definitely going to work into his favor. And with Rigo we all know the type of style that Rigo can execute damn near flawlessly, especially if it's a guy close to his actual size. But Rigo getting that work in, getting that time in the ring, is definitely going to put Guillermo Rigondeaux in the best possible situation. And if worse comes to worse, and Gary Russell is still ducked, if Rigo is still ducked, I really would love for Guillermo Rigondeaux to call out Gary Russell Jr. It's just one of those fights. I feel like it's a high-profile fight. Both of these guys lost to Lomachenko, and I don't know, like stylistically, I don't know. I feel like Gary Russell was more powerful, but then sometimes Rigo, his explosiveness, it just surprises me. I feel like Gary Russell, his stature is naturally heavier than Rigo, but they're both the same height. They're both little guys. They're both 5'4", and hey, man, if they're going to continue to be ducked, let them face one another. Guillermo Rigondeaux is already going after the WBC belt at 122. I feel like what better way for him to go, get the belt at 122, WBC strap at 122, and then challenge the champion at 126. But we have to wait and see, guys. His last fight just happened this past Sunday. Once again, congratulations to Guillermo Rigondeaux for his brutal knockout, and wish him well in the future. This is Nino Brown Boxing. Shout out to the LDBC. Shout out to the DMV. I hope y'all can see the monument in the background. And I'm out.